And now for a special India Today presentation. The worst of the raging inferno in Uttarakhand is under control. The fire has turned more than 3,000 acres of forest land into ash. Despite the fire being contained in several parts of the hill state, the blaze is now spreading outside Uttarakhand and entering Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. The NDRF, or the National Disaster Relief Force, on Sunday said that fires in 70% of the areas have been doused, as the Army, the Air Force, 3 teams of the NDRF and 6,000 firefighters are working round the clock to save the forest covers. The NDRF Director also indicated that the fire is expected to be contained further in the next few days. M17 helicopters of the Air Force have been deployed in the state to carry water from Bhimtal Lake to put out the forest fire. 4 people have been arrested today in connection with the forest fires. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar hinted that the fire at some places could have been man-made.
पिछले कुछ दिनों के प्रयासों से उत्तराखंड में जो जहां आग लगी थी जंगलों में, उन पर काबू पाया गया है। आज सुबह मेरी राज्यपाल जी से भी बात हुई है और 4 लोग भी पकड़े हैं कल पौड़ी में कि जो आग लगाते हुए पाए गए, उनको भी पकड़ा है।
As the forest fire in Uttarakhand rages on, India Today's Ankit Tyagi has managed to get on board the Mi-17 chopper of the Air Force, which has been engaging in water dropping operations in Nainital district. India Today tracks the entire operation from takeoff to attaching a bamboo bucket and filling it with water from the Bhimtal Lake and dropping it at various affected sites. The chopper flew at about 100 to 150 kilometers per hour speed, which is slower than usual, in order to lower the bamboo bucket into the lake. As you can see, this entire operation in front of you. Visibility due to the thick smoke has been proving to be a major challenge for the Indian Air Force, but the Air Force is carrying out this operation to make sure that the fire can be contained and then eventually stopped.
Indian Air Force has pressed 2 Mi-17 choppers to douse the fire in the forest of Uttarakhand. We are right now hovering over Bhimtal. This is the famous Bhimtal in the Nainital district, where the Mi-17 chopper, loaded with this bamboo basket that has the capacity of 3,500 liters of water, is as of now on its filling mission. So the water in the bamboo basket is being filled right now. As you can see, my camera person Yogendra is trying to show you how this bucket works. The bucket goes into water and it will scoop the water. So it has scooped that water from the Bhimtal Lake. 3,500 liters is what the capacity of this Russian bamboo basket is. 2 such choppers have been pressed into action by the Air Force. It's a tricky operation. It's not easy. I was speaking to the daring pilots, those who are in fact undertaking this operation. They say that apart from maintaining the altitude and the right position, they have to be very clear of the winds from the mountains. So as of now, you can see the Mi-17 chopper and its bamboo basket trying to scoop water from the Bhimtal Lake. Once that happens, there are coordinates that have been given to them by the local administration of the fire, which is inaccessible for the rescuers on the ground. Once they scoop this water, they will go and throw this water at the places which have been marked by the ground administration, by the district administration of Nainital. Haldwani is where they are taking off from. The chopper we are in will take at least 3 to 4 sorties before it goes back for refueling. We are now on our way to one such drop area. The water will be dropped at a height from where the water spreads to the mountain and douse the fire. Now, important thing to understand is that most of these areas where this water is being dropped, they have been marked. If the fire is spreading towards the habitat, towards the places where people are living, that's the priority. We'll now show you how this entire operation is done and where the water is in fact thrown out from this Bambi bucket. With camera person Jokendra, Ankit Tyagi on board Mi-17 chopper of Indian Air Force for India Today.
Process of how this Bambi bucket is actually used to scoop out water from the Bhimtal Lake and then transport it. It's like a airborne fire tender. It's that sort of an effort that is going on. So 3,500 liters is the amount of water that can be accommodated, and that's the actual operation that you can see of this water being dropped from the top to douse the fire. Now that's how the water is being scooped out of the famous Bhimtal Lake near Nainital, and let's take a look at how this water is showered over the affected forest areas.
We are just about hovering over the place where this water bucket, this Bambi bucket water has to be dropped. We'll show you how this operation is done. Our official here on board is just trying to give us a signal, and there you see the water being dropped there from the Bambi bucket right on the mountain where there was smoke and fire. So look at that fire line and the smoke down below. This is where the inaccessible parts are, and this is where the Air Force choppers are dropping the water from. And so they are picking up the water from Bhimtal, bringing it here and dropping it so that this fire can be doused out. With camera person Yogendra Singh and Leela Bisht, Ankit Tyagi on board Mi-17 Air Force chopper for India Today.
Now, thick smoke rising from the affected areas has been hampering the operation and making it difficult for firefighters to find the exact spot where they could drop the water from the chopper.
Inside the Mi-17 chopper of the Indian Air Force, we are now on our way to the marked points where the forest fire in the district of Nainital is raging. There have been about 8 fires that have been reported. 6 of them are some way or the other controlled. 2 fires are uncontrollable, not contained as of now. That's the target of these choppers as of now, to try and put the water there so that there is some moisture and the fire can be burnt out. The visibility is a major issue as far as these choppers are concerned. Due to the fire, there is a lot of smoke, and you can see that even the pilots are saying that poor visibility is hampering the operations. We are on our way to the point where the first drop of water today is going to take place. It's been more than a week that these fires have been going on, and now the Indian Air Force, since yesterday, has been on this operation. Yesterday only a couple of sorties could be done because of poor visibility. Today the target is that each chopper at least does 3 rounds before it goes back to the base in Haldwani to refuel. And if the weather permits, they will once again try and fly out. According to estimates, it will take at least 2 to 3 days before the Nainital district fires could be controlled. There are other districts then possibly the Air Force will have to put their attention at.
As the operations to curb the fire is underway across Uttarakhand, fire has spread outside the hill state. Let's listen in to what authorities and politicians in charge have to say about the status of the operation so far.
What is the condition now? What are the areas which are affected, and how are you now trying to tackle these fires?
The latest status of forest fires is that there are only 8 active forest fires in Nainital right now, out of which 6 are completely under control, 2 are slightly out of control but would be curbed in the next 24 hours. I would also like to tell you that in the fire season, as of now, we have already extinguished 150 fires.
What sort of a damage has so far taken place due to these fires? It's been on for the last 3-4 days. What sort of a damage has, especially in your district?
Let me clarify in the first sense that the forest damage I'm talking about, there virtually is no damage, because it needs to be understood that pine forests, pine needles would in any case burn. If they don't burn, the forest department actually burns them in a controlled way. It's a phenomena that's anyway very, very common in Uttarakhand. It's there everywhere. These are not ground fires where trees are being lost. These are undergrowth fires. So in terms of material, forest material loss, there wouldn't be much. In terms of human loss, there's been only one, which is of the Sarpanch of Malla Okhalkanda, who had actually gone out at night. He was age 73, which is not advisable, but that's been one loss here.
We've got Ankit Tyagi now joining us live with all the latest. Ankit, we played out your comprehensive report from Nainital, from Uttarakhand, where this entire process is being carried out, where the water is being lifted from the Bhimtal Lake and then put where it is supposed to be put. It's almost like a sort of a rainfall, artificial rainfall in that particular patch. But do explain to us how this process is very difficult. I mean, there are a number of factors involved: wind speed, exact precision. Where do you need to put this water? You were trying to highlight these things in your report.
You know, it's a very difficult task, Sanket. The chopper is a very unstable machine anyway, and with a Bambi basket hanging, it becomes more difficult for the pilot to control it. In fact, the pilots were saying that if the winds are too large, the Bambi bucket can completely come over and get tangled in the rotors, and then it can cause accidents. But as of now, although there are two Mi-17 choppers that have been pressed, they are working in the Nainital area. One more now has started sorties from the Srinagar area, but there needs to be more attention and possibly more choppers that need to be pressed into action. There are certain areas in Binsar Wildlife Sanctuary, there are certain areas in Paudi, upper reaches of Paudi, in also Almora, which are still burning. The fire department says that due to their efforts, as of now about 70% of the fire has been doused. The Air Force is still on the job. Once they take off from the base, they are able to do 3 sorties. So they go to the Bhimtal Lake, scoop water, go to the area which has been marked by the district administration in Nainital, drop the water, come back to the Bhimtal Lake, again take the water and do it thrice. So 6 such sorties are done at one time between these two choppers. Then they go back, refuel, there is a fatigue factor and all those things. Apart from that, winds and thick smoke that is coming out of the fire is making things difficult. Now, the need as of now is that there needs to be a coordinated efforts from the ground also. The first priority of the district administration is to douse the fire that is moving towards the residential areas. They say that they have been able to control it largely, but as of now with increasing heat, the biggest relief for the people of Uttarakhand would be if there is some sort of rain. If that happens in next 2 to 3 days, the fire could be controlled. Else there needs to be a much greater effort that what is going on as of now.
Absolutely, Ankit Tyagi, many thanks for joining us with this exclusive pictures on board the Mi-17 chopper of the Indian Air Force. They are carrying out this Herculean mission of trying to douse this fire. It's not easy, certainly not easy in these circumstances, as Ankit was pointing out there, to carry a bucket, a Bambi bucket full of 3,500 liters of water from one place to another. It's a difficult task, but significant amount of progress